Rabindranath Tagore was born on 7th May 1861, Kolkata. He is a well known freedom fighter, a poet, and he is the founder of Shantiniketan. He was educated at home, and although at 17 he was sent to England for formal schooling, he did not finish his studies there. In his mature years, in addition to his many sides literary activities, he managed the family estates, a project which brought him into close touch with common humanity and increased his interest in social reforms. He also started an experimental school at Shantiniketan where he tried his Upanishad ideals for education. From time to time, he participated in Indian nationalist movements, though his own sentimental and visionary way, and Gandhi, the political father of modern India, was his devoted friend. Tagore was knighted by a ruling British government in 1950, but within a few years he resigned the honor as a protest against British policies in India. Tagore had early success as a writer in his native Bengal, with his translations of some of his poems had become rapidly known in the West. In fact, his fame attained a luminous height, taking him across continents on lecture tours and tours of friendship. For the world, he became the voice of India's spiritual heritage. And for India, especially for Bengal, he became a great living institution. Although Tagore wrote successfully in all literary genres, he was first of all a poet. Among his 50 and odd volumes of poetry are Manasi, Sonatari, Geetanjali, Geetimalaya, and Balaga. The English rendering of his poetry, which include The Gardener, The Fruit Gathering, and The Fugitive, do not generally correspond to particular volumes in the original Bengal, and in spite of its title, Geetanjali, Song Offering, the most acclaimed of them contains poems from other works beside its namesake. Tagore's major play as Raja, Dakagar, Ajalyatan, Muktadhara, and Riktakavi. He is the author of several volumes of short stories and a number of novels, among them Gora, Ghare Bare, and Yoga Yog. Beside these, he wrote musical dramas, dance dramas, essays of all types, travel diaries, and two autobiographies. In his middle years and the other shortly before his death in 1941, Tagore also left numerous drawings and paintings and songs for which he wrote the music himself. He left the world on August 7, 1941. He is a great man and he is an inspiration to the young generation. Thank you.
The Home and the World by Rabindranath Tagore. The Home and the World is a novel by Rabindranath Tagore set against the political and logistical nightmares of India's 20th century caste system. Although the story focuses on the dynamic of a marriage, which shifts. When a shadowy outsider enters the lives of the couple, much of the novel reads like a philosophical treatise. There are shifting viewpoints between the characters Bimala, Nigil, and Sandeep, and much of the book comprises their internal and external dialogues as they consider serious issues such as tradition, the roles of men and women in Indian culture, the nature of political change, the occasional need for violence in political activism, and other rhetorical exercises such as the weighing of the public good. As the novel begins, Bimala is happy with her life. She has married a good, kind man who is educated and generous. She is content to worship him and accept his support in all things. What she does not feel, however, is excitement. When the political firebrand Sandeep begins making speeches in their village, she is infatuated by his words but also stirred by some of his political ideas. She thinks of him constantly. Sandeep, who is only interested in pursuing his own desires and climbing the social strata, does nothing to discourage her interest in him. Her husband Nigel sees what is happening but is unwilling to intervene. Nigel believes that if one is committed to living morally and thoughtfully, one can accept whatever arises. He is sad that he feels like a burden to Bimala but is determined to let her make her own choices. Bimala's choices led her to steal from Nigel to raise money for Sandeep's cause, money that he keeps for himself. Overcome with shame at how she has allowed a man who now disgusts her to cause such havoc in her life, Bimala must try to save her marriage, support her country, and recommit herself to living by her conscience, not her passions. As village unrest turns to outbursts of violence, the characters are all changed by the decision they must make. The novel is a striking example of the power of art to edify or destroy causes, relationships, and possibly an entire country. Thank you.
Toutes tes copines sont des bad bad girls, on s'en fout du